Most people think the Tesla Model X is just a cool mom car with fancy doors. But here's the reality. In 2026, it is either the smartest purchase you'll ever make or the most expensive headache of your life. We're talking about a car that can outrun a Ferrari, open its own doors like a personal butler, and literally drive you to work while you play high-end video games on a 17-inch screen. But behind the hype, owners are dealing with some seriously weird issues that Tesla doesn't want to talk about. Is the 2026 Model X actually the future of SUVs, or is it just a dated spaceship on wheels? By the end of this video, you'll know exactly why people are either obsessed with this car or swearing they'll never buy another Tesla again. Let's get into it. Let's start with the elephant in the room, those doors. They're called Falcon Wing doors, and they are easily the most recognizable feature on any car on the road today. Tesla designed these so you could get in and out of tight parking spots without banging your door against the car next to you. They even have ultrasonic sensors hidden inside the metal to see obstacles. But here's where things get stressful. Imagine you're at a crowded grocery store. You've got a car parked inches away on both sides. You hit the button, and the doors start their elaborate dance. You're standing there, heart racing, watching the door clear the other car's mirror by literally millimeters. And then it stops, halfway open. The sensor thinks there's a wall where there isn't, or worse, it doesn't see a low-hanging pipe in a parking garage. I've seen dozens of forum posts from 2025 and 2026 where these doors just refuse to close because of a software glitch, leaving owners stranded in the rain. Plus, if you ever ding one of these, you aren't just fixing a dent, you're replacing skins and recalibrating sensors that cost more than a used hatchback. So are they a fail? Not exactly. The payoff is that when they do work, which is almost all the time, they are genuinely a game changer. If you have kids in car seats, you will never go back to a normal SUV. You can literally stand upright while strapping a toddler in because the entire roof section lifts out of your way. In 2026, Tesla finally updated the seals and sensors to be way more reliable than the early horror story models. It's the ultimate flex that actually has a daily purpose. Just keep a close eye on those low garage ceilings.
If you're looking at a Model X, you have two choices, the all-wheel drive or the legendary Plaid. Now, the standard version is already faster than most sports cars, but the Plaid? It's a 1,020 horsepower tri-motor beast. Tesla claims a 0 to 60 time of 2.5 seconds. For context, that is faster than a Bugatti Veyron in a 7-seater SUV. But there's a catch. Driving a car this heavy, over 5,000 pounds, at those speeds feels unnatural. When you floor it in drag strip mode, the air suspension lowers the front end into a cheetah stance. The tension builds as the battery prepares itself. Your passengers are laughing, thinking it'll be a fun little zip. Then you hit the pedal. The G-force is so violent it literally pushes the air out of your lungs. Your vision blurs slightly, and then you realize you're doing 80 miles per hour in a residential zone in the blink of an eye. The tension here isn't just the speed, it's the sheer responsibility of holding that much power in a family vehicle. If you aren't careful, the tires will be bald in 5,000 miles and your insurance premium will look like a second mortgage. The payoff? It's the ultimate sleeper. You can drop the kids off at soccer practice, and on the way home, you can embarrass almost any supercar at a red light. In the 2026 model, Tesla added improved torque vectoring, which means this giant bus actually handles corners like a much smaller car. It's the only vehicle on Earth that offers family utility and existential crisis-level speed in the same package. Step inside, and it doesn't feel like a car. It feels like a high-end lounge. There's no leather, it's all vegan materials now, and the dashboard is basically one giant piece of glass. You've got a 17-inch main screen that tilts left to right, a driver display, and a 9-inch screen in the back for the kids. In early 2026, Tesla started shipping these with hardware 4.5, which makes the interface smoother than a high-end tablet. But here is where the tension lies. Tesla removed everything. There's no gear shifter, there are no turn signal stalks, there isn't even a physical horn in the middle of the wheel on some versions. To shift into drive, you have to slide your finger on the edge of the screen. To use your blinkers, you press buttons on the steering wheel. Imagine you're in a hectic roundabout. The wheel is turned 180 degrees, and you need to signal your exit. Where is the button? It's upside down. It's frustrating, it's counterintuitive, and for the first week, you will feel like a student driver all over again.
But once the muscle memory kicks in, every other car starts to feel ancient. The payoff is a cabin that is completely uncluttered. The auto shift feature actually guesses if you want to go forward or backward based on your surroundings, and it's surprisingly right most of the time. Plus, with the new software integration, you can literally plug in a wireless controller and play massive AAA games while you're waiting at a supercharger. It's not just an SUV, it's a mobile gaming station. Tesla claims the Model X gets up to 352 miles of range. On paper, that sounds like you could drive across several states and still have plenty of juice left. And with the supercharger network being the best in the world, charging should be a breeze, right? Here's the reality check. It's 2026, and while the chargers are everywhere, the range anxiety is still real for new owners. Why? Because that 352 miles is an estimate. If you're driving 80 miles per hour on the highway in the winter with the heater blasting, that 352 miles quickly turns into 240. The tension hits when you're 20 miles from a charger, the car says you have 5% battery, and you're climbing a steep mountain pass. You start turning off the AC, slowing down to 60 miles per hour, and praying the computer didn't miscalculate the wind resistance. It's a mental game that every EV owner has to play at least once. The payoff is the Supercharger V4 experience. In 15 minutes, you can add 170 miles of range. By the time you've grabbed a coffee and used the restroom, the car is ready to go. The 2026 Model X also has better thermal management, meaning it stays efficient even in extreme heat or cold compared to older electric cars. When you realize you haven't visited a gas station in 3 years and your fuel costs about 1/4 of what a gas SUV would cost, the math finally starts to make sense.
You're paying nearly $100,000 for a flagship vehicle. You expect top-tier build quality, right? Perfectly aligned panels, silent cabins, and paint that looks like liquid glass. This is the area where Tesla still struggles to satisfy everyone. The tension comes when you take delivery. You might find a panel gap on the trunk that's slightly wider than the one on the left, or you might hear a weird thunk in the air suspension when you go over speed bumps. Because the car is so silent, every little creak or rattle in the interior sounds like a gunshot. Owners often find themselves obsessing over these tiny details, wondering if their expensive SUV was rushed off the assembly line. There's also the full self-driving factor. While it's better than ever in 2026, it still has those heart-and-mouth moments where it takes a corner a bit too wide or gets confused by road construction. The payoff is the over-the-air updates. This is the only car that actually gets better while it sits in your driveway. If there's a bug with the suspension or a glitch in the self-driving, Tesla pushes a software update overnight, and the next morning, it's fixed. You don't have to go to a dealership, you don't have to talk to a mechanic. The car evolves. That rattle you heard might even be addressed by a technician who comes to your house via Tesla mobile service. The convenience factor eventually outweighs the minor build quality quirks for most people. So after everything we've looked at, the mind-bending speed, the futuristic doors, and the occasional software ghost in the machine, is the 2026 Tesla Model X actually worth it? If you want a traditional luxury experience where everything is safe and normal, you might want to look at a BMW iX or a Rivian. But if you want a car that feels like a piece of technology from the year 2040, there is nothing else like the Model X. It's flawed, it's weird, and it's expensive, but it's also the most capable SUV ever made. It can tow 5,000 pounds, carry 7 people, and beat a Lamborghini in a drag race, all while being the safest car in its class. The bottom line is simple. If you can handle the learning curve and the Tesla way of doing things, the Model X isn't just a car, it's a massive lifestyle upgrade.
But hey, I want to hear from you. Would you trust those Falcon Wing doors in your garage, or are they a deal breaker for you? Maybe you've already owned one and have a horror story or success story to share. Drop a comment below and let's talk about it. If you found this breakdown helpful and you want to see more deep dives into the latest tech, hit that like button. It really helps the channel grow. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.